Have you ever felt like you're just stuck on a treadmill at work? You're putting in all this effort, but you're not actually going anywhere? Well, if that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to break down the blueprint for not just keeping up, but for actually building a ladder to get ahead. So, let's dive right in.
So just pause for a second and really think about this. Is your career a ladder or is it a treadmill? Are all those hours you're putting in actually moving you up step by step, or are you just running like crazy to avoid falling off the back? You know the difference between those two things? It almost always boils down to one simple, powerful strategy: upskilling.
All right, first things first, we're going to tackle the big question. What even is upskilling? I mean, it's a word you hear everywhere, right? It's kind of become this corporate buzzword that gets thrown around in meetings. So our first job is to strip all that away and figure out what it really means in a way that's actually useful. And here's the bottom line. Upskilling is not about throwing out your whole career and starting over from scratch. Not at all. It's really just the process of learning new things, or maybe getting better at the things you already do, so you can become more valuable right there on your current career path. It's all about focused, deliberate growth.
Okay, and this is a really important distinction to make because people mix up upskilling and reskilling all the time. Think of it like this. Upskilling is about climbing up. It's vertical growth. Let's say you're a writer, so you learn SEO to become a better, more effective writer. You're climbing your ladder. Reskilling, on the other hand, is like jumping to a whole new ladder. It's a horizontal move. That same writer decides to learn how to code and becomes a software developer. See the difference? One is climbing, the other is jumping.
Okay, so we've got the definition down, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it's super helpful to break it down into three main categories. Let's call them the three pillars that hold up a really strong career.
Pillar number one is your technical skills. The hard skills. This is stuff like mastering a new piece of software, getting good with AI tools, or learning data analysis. Then pillar number two, soft skills. Honestly, I like to call these power skills because that's what they are. We're talking emotional intelligence, leadership, communication. In a world where AI can do all the routine stuff, these human skills, they're your secret weapon. And finally, the third pillar is digital literacy. This is just about evolving with technology. It's like going from basic spreadsheets to building automated workflows that save you a ton of time.
Right, so now we get to the big question, probably the most important one. Why does any of this matter? Like, what's really in it for you? What's the payoff for all that time and effort? Let's talk about the what's in it for me factor.
And reason number one is a huge one. It's future-proofing. I mean, look around. The world of work is changing at an insane pace, and a lot of that is because of AI and automation. Upskilling is basically your number one defense strategy against becoming obsolete.
There's this idea that the shelf life of our skills is shrinking like crazy. And that's because all those routine, predictable tasks, that's exactly what machines are designed to do. So upskilling becomes your way of pivoting. You move away from the stuff that can be automated and into the high-value work that machines just can't do. We're talking strategic thinking, creative problem-solving, real human connection.
All right, reason number two, let's get practical for a second and talk about money. Yep, because proactively learning new, valuable skills has a direct, and I mean direct, impact on how much you can earn.
It really comes down to a super simple equation. Higher value equals higher pay. That's it. When you can do things that other people in your field can't, you've just made yourself more valuable. And when your value goes up, your paycheck tends to follow. It's just basic market logic. Okay, so it's not just about defending your job or making more money. Reason number three is about something even more powerful. It's about having options. Upskilling gives you freedom. It turns your career from this rigid, one-way street into a dynamic map with all sorts of possible destinations.
And this career agility is like a two-sided coin. On one side, you have internal promotions. You become the obvious choice for the next big project or that new leadership role. You're the go-to person. On the other side, you've got external opportunities. If you decide you want to make a move, you walk into the job market with a huge advantage over everyone else.
And reason number four, this is one that I think gets overlooked way too often. It's about job satisfaction. Simply put, upskilling makes your work more fun and more fulfilling. It's literally the antidote to being bored at your job. I mean, think about it. What's the fastest way to burn out? Feeling stuck. Stagnation is a killer. But when you're actively learning something new, when you're mastering a new skill, it injects a sense of purpose back into your work.
You get that feeling of mastery and autonomy, and psychologists will tell you those are the key ingredients for feeling motivated and happy at work.
Okay, so let's say you're on board. You're thinking, all right, I get it, I need to do this. The big question is, how? How do you actually start? Well, let's get into the actionable playbook. It's a simple, 4-step cycle you can repeat over and over again for the rest of your career.
So here's your roadmap. Step 1 is to audit. Just take stock. What skills are you missing? What's the gap between where you are now and where you want to be? Step 2 is source. Okay, now that you know what you need, where are you going to get it? Find a great online course, a workshop, whatever works for you. Step 3, and this one is so important, is practice. You have to apply what you've learned to a real project. Knowledge is useless until you use it. And finally, step 4 is to certify. Make it official. Slap that new credential on your resume, update your LinkedIn profile, and let the world know you've got this new skill. So, as we wrap things up, let's bring it all back to that ladder we talked about at the beginning. Every single new skill you pick up isn't just some random fact you know. It's another rung. You are actively building your own personal career ladder, one skill at a time.
And if there's one thing I really want you to take away from all this, it's this. Upskilling is not a one-time project. You don't just do it once and check a box. The people who are most successful in their careers, they treat learning as a continuous cycle. It's just part of what they do. It's a mindset, a habit, and it's one that will pay you back for your entire career.
So I'm going to leave you with one last thing to chew on. They say the shelf life of a skill is now less than 5 years. That's wild when you think about it. So the question is no longer if you should be learning something new. The only real question is, what are you going to learn next to build your own future? What's your next step going to be?